Hello, Helen and Wick. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Good
Good
morning.
Bienvenidos.
morning.
Bom dia.
Bon dia, bienvenidos. We can say both. I don't know. I think you never made the Portuguese Camino, so
Yes, we
oh,
have walked some of the around Porto, and just before Tui. Um,
Aliança.
we have seen that, and we've seen some along the coast. So yes, we
Perfect.
know some of it. Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
First of all, thank you so much. It's a pleasure and an honor to um, have you, both of you here. Also, I think I can say this um, in. Oh my God, I forgot the right word. This is what happens when you don't. But I can talk about the feeling that most of the pilgrims, if not all of them that follow your work, are really thankful for the amazing job that you are doing, helping, educating about this
Mm,
amazing journey, which is the Camino. But you
mm.
have you need to have some cautions, to have some little things in mind. So before starting with the conversation, I will and by the way, you can find their website just over there, over the highlight. You can see caminoprovisions.com. Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there you'll find amazing lessons about the Camino. So if you don't mind to introduce yourself, and then we can start with the conversation.
Sure. Do you want to say?
Well, we're Wick and Helen Van Wagenen from the U.S., and we first walked the Camino in 2007. And it was a very different experience then. There was very little information. And that was one of the things that uh, led us. We had such a good experience. We wanted others to enjoy it also. And so we really understood that it would be helpful if they had more information and might lead to a better experience than our first trip. Although we had a great time. I mean, the good news is no matter what you do, you will very likely still have a good experience. But we think there are ways to have better experiences.
Well, like we like to tell people, we hope we can help you not make the same mistakes we made. You might make your own,
Yes.
but maybe we can prepare you, not so that you won't face anything unexpected. There's every Camino has unexpected situations arise. That's part of a pilgrimage, right?
I mean, we talk about the idea of not just being flexible, but being fluid.
Yes.
Because things happen
beyond your
control and unexpectedly, and just coming into the experience knowing that is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my background is engineering, and so I'm used to planning and having everything lined up, and that's really not exactly the way the Camino works. And it's been very good for me to realize that, and that there are many things that are beyond my control.
Yeah.
And to just give those things up and still be happy.
And trust that things are going to work out.
Yes.
I read something recently I think is so true. You may not have the Camino you wanted to have, but you'll have the one you needed. Ooh. And I think what that meant was, on our very first one, we had made our packs way too heavy because I'd never been to Spain and had never done, we couldn't find that much information to prepare us for what it was like on the Camino. So I packed with the idea of, oh, well, I might need this. Oh, I might need that. So my pack weighed 36 pounds, which is way too heavy for somebody. How many kilos is that? sometimes he can convert
Yeah,
to
probably
kilos.
15 or
Yeah.
20
Yes,
kilos.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yes.
So
yes,
way
yes.
too heavy for me.
It would be heavy for me.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
heavy for anybody. And and that was packing out of fear of what if. And so one of the things we like to share about the lessons learned are, don't pack something if you're packing it because of what if, because whatever you need, somehow you will have when you need it. And you said the Camino provides is one of the sayings that you hear on the Camino, which is where we took the name Camino Provisions, because there were so many ways that that we were provided for when we needed something. You can't plan everything out for your Camino, but you can do some things to prepare yourself physically and prepare yourself by not overpacking. There are stores in Spain. I don't know. I didn't realize this.
And in Portugal.
In Portugal and in Spain, guess what? There are stores. And so if you need something,
you can find it
that you don't have, that you didn't know you were going to need, likely you can find it in a store, or even in the lost and found bins in the albergues. A lot of times things are left because people didn't want to carry it anymore or whatever. So check out the lost and found bins in the albergues too. That's often a place where you can find things you need. But anyway, I would say just in general, our whole motivation for doing what we do with our website and YouTube channel and Facebook and Instagram to just help inspire people and give information, not to overwhelm you, but just to help you prepare so you don't over prepare or under prepare, and you can have the best experience that for what you decide you're going to walk. So yeah.
Yeah, and as I said at the beginning, there's this familiarity in Portugal and mainly here in the north, because as I said, I live 2 hours ahead from Santiago, so it's something. It's kind of crossing a big city in the US. So it's pretty close. And this was one of the surprises that I had. I think this was after I made the first Camino. I made a kind of research. Let me see by country the ranking, and the US were ranked in the first 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I got like, what? Because for me, for Portuguese people, I think it's pretty normal, because this is something that we have 2 main pilgrimages centers here in the Iberia. Fatima in Portugal, which I'm not a huge fan. Let me make this statement. And Santiago, which is something that I think we can tell that is something that I really like. But the thing is, we are a Catholic country. We live close to Spain. We are neighbors. And it's understandable that, well, even though we are a little country, okay, 10 million only, okay, so it's normal that we can appear in the top 10. But the US, I said, they are in the other side of the ocean. I don't think that the main religion there is Catholic, okay. So this is something that I want to ask you, and there's a second question also about the logistic that crossing the ocean. And you said both times right now, and you said the first time we talked, and this is important, because if I go to the Camino, and for instance, because I have anything, I can come back easily by train and all this.
Right.
I can even ask my sister to go, because this was something that happened. My sister, when I was calling like every day to say it to her, look, this is going good, blah blah blah. She asked me, where do you want me to pick you? So it's kind of, but the thing is, and you mentioned this the first time we talked, is imagine that you cross the ocean, and then because you made a not so good choice, and at the middle or in the first journey, whatever, you just think, okay, I have this thing, I can't go on, I'm not having fun, whatever. So it's kind of frustrating as well, because this, and the thing is also about the budget, okay, because I can go to Santiago spending 20 euros, okay, or well, maybe a little bit less, but I can do this. I can't cross the ocean with, I think. With-
Yeah. Well, it's
so
like we were talking about the other day on our meet and greet time we have with you. It is a different perspective for people who are coming from such a distance that they are spending hundreds of dollars on a plane ticket, or even over $1,000 on a plane ticket. If you're coming all the way from Australia or some really on the other side of the world. I mean, we're coming from the state in the United States called North Carolina, which is on the East Coast, Atlantic coast of the country. And but yes, the biggest cost of a Camino for people coming from distances is the flight. Typically, that's the biggest expense. And of course, what we were saying to you was that is one of the reasons why we want to we say we want to give tips and inspiration to help each person complete the Camino that they plan, because sometimes I think people try to do more distance than they have time to do, and they end up with an overuse injury that makes them have to stop their Camino. So all the things that
We're experts on that, by the way.
Yeah, my foot. Well, because in 2007, when I had that very heavy overpacked pack, I ended up with a stress fracture in my foot. I didn't know it for a couple of weeks, but the pain finally got so bad I had to stop and take a bus to Santiago. I couldn't complete my Camino. Wick did, and our son did, who was with us at the time. But anyway, we want to help you prepare so that you will know with the time you have, and with your level of fitness and so forth, and what is your goal? What are the reasons you're walking the Camino? We want you to think about those things before you go, so that you can finish what you want to do, not what a guidebook says you should do, but what you want to do. So, yeah. I'm not adding.
Well, I was going to say, when you're traveling at a distance, normally because of the cost, what we see is people want to have a couple of weeks minimum that they can be on the Camino. And the other thing that you have when you're flying from the U.S. or Australia or someplace, I mean, the U.S. is not that bad because it's only 6 hours different, depending upon the time of year. But it's or 5 hours if it's, I guess, Portugal.
Yes.
But we have, like from Australia, you're looking at 10 hours or whatever. And so it really makes a big difference in your ability to get up and go if you are completely jet lagged. And we would like to say, well, jet lag doesn't affect us, but it does. And both coming and going.
Yeah.
So we've learned that, we have to account for that. But the big thing that we talk about with folks is do you want to see Santiago? Is that a goal? Is getting a Compostela a goal? Is just seeing pretty countryside and having a more quiet area of the Camino, meaning fewer people? Is that a goal? What are some of the things that are important to you? And people walk the Camino for all types of different reasons. Sometimes it's almost an outdoor adventure, and other times it's a spiritual retreat. And so each person really needs to think about those goals and those things, because based on what you're trying to accomplish, your Camino may look different from someone else's. And the thing that we say over and over to people is your Camino is your Camino. It's not.
It's you. It's about you.
It's right. And you don't have to be concerned, oh, well, I'm doing it differently than this person. Or these people think if you're not carrying a heavy pack that you're not a real pilgrim, or if you're not staying in albergues even. Well, that in our opinion is short-sighted, in that each person has to figure out what they're able to do and what they're going to be comfortable doing, and again, just able to accomplish for their goals, and then work through, this is what we're going to do. An example of that, we have dear friends who are a family, and they were going to have 2 weeks. Then they'd already been in Barcelona, and they were asking, should we go all the way to Santiago? Shouldn't we? And we finally, after asking a lot of questions, they finally said, we really just want to be together as a family. We want to have quiet, spiritual time, and we want to see pretty countryside. So we ended up suggesting to them that they walk from Pamplona to Burgos, because you're walking through wine country, and it's not a super busy, generally busy part of the Camino as far as people, where you're walking in a line of people or whatever. And they ended up doing that, and they all came back saying, well, now we want to do the whole thing. And that's exactly, and that's really your goal. Part of your goal is, if you then can go home and explain to your friends what you did and why, and be happy about it, where either you want to do something like that again, or you can share with your friends and they'll want to do it. So, and have the experience that you had. So those are, again, just some short examples of the way we look at things.
Yeah,
absolutely. And this is interesting. And just let me go to the comments, because we have here Joanna. Maybe Joanna will be doing the Camino soon, and she said boots prepared. And she said also that she lives right beside you in Tennessee.
Oh yeah, right.
That's very close.
Just west, yeah.
Hi, Joanna.
And when you mentioned your challenges, she sympathized with me, because one of the things I've been talking since I did the Camino, also to kind of help people prevent the terrible blisters. We will be talking about them. I think right now we have better things to talk about than blisters right now.
But blisters can change your life for the worse. So.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Believe me.
Yeah.
They do. And just because you mentioned the fact of these different time zones, and the first albergue I stopped in, the first Camino I made, it was in La Guardia. And I've heard this lady from Canada complaining about people from Korea that they woke up too early, 4 a.m. in the morning. Oh my God, these people are crazy. And I said, well, because they live in a different time zone. And she said, kind of even more fired. Yeah, but they are in Spain. Yes, but they live the whole year with that schedule, so they won't come here and suddenly they skip. And okay. And I believe that this is something that we should realize as well, and we should be aware this specific things about cultures, about different people from everywhere, and we can say everywhere with caps lock, because if you are from, for instance, the Japan, China, Korea, they live in a different time zone, and they don't change that biorhythm in 2 days. Okay, so probably they will be the people getting out of bed sooner or earlier in the morning and doing the things, moving those bags, doing the
Yeah, rustling zipping the zippers and rustling the Velcro, ripping open things. Yes. We've been in
and this
Albergues, and the battle of the morning rush is, yeah.
Yes, and
Mhm.
this is something that you mentioned. I think it was you, Wick. You mentioned this, and this is one of the important lessons about the Camino. As we said, and we agree on that, the Camino, it's about me, not about what the others say, about what the others think. It's about me, my goals, what I want to accomplish during the Camino, whatever.
Mhm.
And I've seen this a few days ago again, because there are some people that, and I believe this is more an European thing, because we are ancient countries. We think that uh, because this was the way that it was made 100 years ago, this is how you should do it now. And for instance, this crazy thing about you should carry the backpack. I feel better right now because I can carrying my backpack, and it's a heavy one. But it's me. If you don't feel good, if you have any health problems and you don't want to carry a big backpack, 75 liters backpack.
You are crazy, Marco. You are crazy.
Well, let me share this. This is a true story. The first time I went, there was a big friend of mine that went. It was the one who invited me, and he, for instance, he made a bag for each day, like Monday this one, and in each one of them he had the shoes, the socks, boxers, and a shirt. And I didn't. It was 8 days, and he took one bag for each day.
Wow.
And I look at the thing is, he was wearing an me M. I wear an XXL. So just with that, with the extra, it makes a huge difference. But the thing is, people think, okay, this is how, for instance, the ways, because sometimes oh no, the way, it's that way, and you can't go in the other street. You should go this street. And let's think about the first Camino, the Primitivo. They call that Camino the Primitivo because it was the Camino that the king made some years ago, I believe, from Oviedo to Santiago.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the king made the Camino walking, and that he made the Camino and stayed at the albergues? Do you really?
Uh, I don't believe that, but I don't have any actual knowledge. No.
So the thing is, because I had some other activities here uh, related to traditions and this sort of things. There's this problem when we somehow lose track because there were no recordings. It was kind of something really ancient. We kind of start figuring how things were, and we want to keep them like they were on that time today. And it's crazy because we can start saying, okay, so you should not wear that boots because the ancient pilgrims, I don't believe that they were wearing Morel or Salomon's boots.
Yeah, right.
So this is something that we should have in mind. I wanted to bring this because you mentioned the fact that some people, they want to stay at one night or the whole journey on an hotel instead of albergue. For instance, if I need, because if I really need to sleep, staying at an albergue could not be the right decision. And I believe that it's better to do the Camino in a good shape, in a good mood, okay, than doing it like, oh my God, I'm feeling tired and I don't feel strong enough to do this because I need to sleep at the albergue with people snoring. Do you have this different perspective? I believe you do. So if you want to share, for instance, why you should stay in albergues, why you should consider it. This is not a law, it's just possibilities, and this is something that you said the first conversation we had, and I truly believe in it's the way it should be said. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we should consider about both
Yeah.
options.
I think, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say one of the really great things about particularly the Francaise is there's a lot of what we call infrastructure, meaning if you want to stay in albergues, there are lots of them. If you want to stay in a hotel, there are lots of them, all different price ranges.
Sizes and yeah.
And
the other thing, let me just
Go
jump
ahead.
in. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's so many different types of lodging or
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
accommodations. And the biggest decision, the biggest way people decide about that is probably budget. Whatever their budget is, there will be lodging to fit that budget.
Yes.
The least expensive are the donativo albergues, and not all the municipal albergues are donativo, just some of them, which just means you donate what you can. And we believe you really should donate something. But all the way up to the Parador hotels, which are in the U.S. we would say they're the 5-star hotels, very nice accommodations and everything in between. People are using Airbnb to find a room in someone's apartment, or private albergues are, more and more private albergues are popping up, and they often will have a private room, sometimes sharing a bathroom on the hall, or sometimes even with their own bathroom. So some of these private albergues are similar to almost like have some small hotel type rooms in them, as well as the bunk bed rooms. And if people have seen any pictures or like the movie The Way, they've seen the huge dormitory rooms with 50 or more bunk beds side by side, so and that does exist still. Although after the pandemic, they have taken some precautions to divide spaces better, so you're not breathing the same air as the person next to you. But I just want people to know that there would be a bed for you for your budget, and depending on what your budget is, and then you've already mentioned, Marco, what your needs might be because of your health, or you just need, you've been staying in albergues for 2 weeks and running on about 3 hours of sleep because of what we call the snoradors. I did not know somebody could snore as loud as the French cyclist above me in a bunk bed on our first Camino. I have never heard of a human being snore that loud. But anyway,
another story that I really like from our first Camino was Helen had to stop walking and bus on into Santiago, and I was still walking. And I ended up staying in this hotel. Can't remember where right now, but anyway, I went down to dinner, and here was a Canadian couple.
Well, and as you do, often you join other pilgrims at their table.
Anyway, and again, I'm by myself. We don't know anything about the Camino other than that we're on the Camino.
Yeah, the two of us don't know much of anything at that time.
On that first trip. And so I start talking to them. Well, this is close on, getting close to Santiago. Well, this man is 82 years old and his wife is 73 years old. And they told me, they said,
they're from Canada, so that's how we can speak.
He said, this is the third year. We have given it a couple of weeks each year and we'll get to Santiago either this year or next year. And they said, we never walk. And this is how they were doing this. And it was so interesting. We always stay in a hotel because that's what we need to sleep. We use the pack service. I said, what's the pack service?
Man. The transport service. Yeah, we didn't know about it.
Didn't know about it. I said, what is that? That sounds great.
Excuse me?
And then they said the most they walked in any day was 6 miles. And that was sort of their rules. And that was
what they could do.
That's what they could do. And they were following. And it made such an impression on me because they were doing their Camino. Mm-hmm. And it was working for them. And they were going to get to Santiago. Mm-hmm. And so they were very successful in what they were trying to accomplish. And again, it was just a real learning thing. But anyway, the good news there was also hearing about the pack service.
Yeah.
Because for Helen and I, we're a youthful 70 and 69, and the pack service has meant a lot to us. Last year, we, for the first time, actually walked the entire Française from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port all the way to Santiago. And took 52 days. And a lot of you would say 52 days. Well, we like to laugh about it, but we call it our slow Camino.
Yeah.
Because
that's Camino.
That's right. It's what we could do.
It's what we could do.
And not get injured and keep going.
And we can honestly say neither one of us ever had a blister on that trip.
No injuries.
No injuries. And
You're making me jealous.
And we were very, but we had the time at this point in our lives to do it that way, and it was a huge blessing. So we're so glad we went ahead and did it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, you learn these things, and that's what we're trying to share with people, so that however you decide to do your Camino, mm-hmm. you can feel confident that you're doing what's right for you and that it's a Camino. Mm-hmm. Because again, one of the things that grates on us, that's kind of an American term for irritating us, mm-hmm. is people that try to judge other people's Camino and say, oh, well, they're not real pilgrims, or it's not a real Camino if you haven't done this or that. That is, well, we just think that's foolishness.
Yes, and again, I think I mentioned this the other day, but for instance, when I went to the football game, soccer, last Sunday, I went with two of the guys that driving, with two of the guys that, well, they were who organized the Camino, because one was kind of a veteran, and mm-hmm. we were talking about this, and because there's some people that I think they kind of over romanticize as well the Camino, because I believe this is something that happens as well, because they think that the Camino changed people, and but the thing is, And you know, because you are really often watching Facebook groups and pages, and sometimes you see people with a lack of tolerance about others' questions. And well, sometimes, let's say this, sometimes the questions they're a little bit, you know, but if you say, okay, I made a Camino, I'm another person, and then the very next moment you are there. Oh, blah 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 blah. Shame on you. You're not a real pilgrim. For instance, one of the things I saw, the Camino ends at Santiago. If you go to Muxi or to Fisterra, it's tourism. And I said, why? Because you have there the zero that bench with the 0 kilometer of the Camino, and you're telling me that it's tourism. What's the point? It's crazy. And this is one of the things that we should understand. Another thing that at least I think we should think about it, because we live in a so competitive world, okay? And sometimes I think that some people, they make a little bit misconception that they think that the Camino, it's a marathon, that you should come there first. They wake up really early, not because they want to avoid this is a true, the hot afternoon in Spain, but just to say I arrived first at Santiago or to the next town. And they kind of miss those pictures, the nature, that landscapes. Any thoughts on this? Because I believe this is also about enjoying the Camino, not going from point A and trying to be at the point B as fast as you can.
Yeah. Well, again, there's a wide range of how people make the distance. We when we were walking last fall, there was an organized group of people who were actually running the Camino.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were in running clothes and just had their Camelback water to stay hydrated for their run. I mean, I'm serious. It was a group run, and they were all kind of spread out, because the different speeds and stuff.
yes.
But that was how they were choosing to do it. Maybe they only had 4 days, and they decided they wanted to do that. Maybe they had walked other times and done it in another way then, or maybe this was to see if they wanted to do it again. I don't know. But again, I didn't judge them, but I did think to myself, I couldn't have done that. But the other thing to say about the way people are doing the Camino now, there's a lot of discussion, and some of it's not very friendly, about people who use a tour company to help them arrange their Camino accommodations and so forth. And we have not personally done that.
Not yet.
But I looked into it so that I could answer questions about it when some of our fans ask. I'm certainly not going to dismiss that as a way that people can walk the Camino. But I will say that we did meet a lot of people this past walk who were they had used tour companies. And again, there's some really good ones out there. I'm not going to say anything disrespectful about them, but I will say that the people that we ran into more than once, because we were kind of on the same pace with them, wished they were doing what we were doing, because they had to stay in a certain place on a certain day. They could not change their itinerary at all. And so they were feeling kind of discouraged and rushed to see, like you're saying, to really just enjoy the beauty of the Rioja vineyards and enjoy the beauty of the mountain landscapes and the things that you get to see. They were often missing that because they had to keep to the itinerary laid out by the tour company. So I want to encourage people not to, there are good reasons for having a tour company arrange things for you, but don't make that choice if you're just out of fear thinking, well, I wouldn't know what to do, or I don't think I would be able to find my place or find food or whatever. I mean, I can just maybe give those people some peace by saying, just kind of relax and have peace into your walk, and you will find what you need to eat. You will find where a place to stay. Now, we did end up booking a few things ahead so that we would have a place in a city that we knew was having a big festival or something like that. But people need to realize that it's not that hard to arrange things for yourself, rather than having to keep to a tour group schedule. I think one lady said it. She said, "So you're just walking at your own pace?" And we said, "Yes." Oh, that sounds so good.
Well, they had been truthfully a little over optimistic about how far they could walk each day, and they had not built any rest days into their itinerary. And
every one of those groups, people were getting foot problems, knee problems. They were
So what we would say is we see a lot of value in the tour group concept because they do know what the infrastructure, what's available, and they can help you. If you say, here's my budget, they can help you stay in that. Now, the thing though that we would also say is you can tell them, here's what we think we can do, and you need to be realistic about that on a daily basis, and the fact that, hey, we're going to take a day off every week or a day off every fifth day or whatever you decide you want to do. Mm-hmm. And when you get to a city like, say, Burgos is a great example, or Pamplona, really nice,
Leon,
really nice places that have things to see, you can say, I mean, because you can build these things any way you want. They may try to kind of push you into their canned itinerary, but you don't have to accept that. You can tell them, we want to have an extra day in these cities to see some of the things, and we want to take a day off every week or whatever you have time for. Okay. So,
yeah.
Anyway, those are things that we've liked. Marco, I wanted to ask, have we answered Joanna's question, or did she have a question about footwear or?
Well, this is something that I'm going to address now, this kind of more, how can I say, micromanagement.
Practical.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, if you're not watching this live show on Amazon, I truly recommend for you to go to Amazon. How you can do that, you go to the video description. There's the link, marketing.live. Okay. Because right now I have highlighted the book that Helen came. A guide about the Camino. Okay. Are you thinking about a new edition?
I have not thought about a new edition. No. I think the guidebook is more about helping you prepare for your Camino than it is a guidebook with maps or albergay listings of albergays. It's just meant to help you prepare and kind of know what to expect when you're walking, which is what we had no concept of on our first Camino. So
Absolutely. So one of the things, Joanna, it's so not too expensive other than air trip, and I'm good with flexibility and packing light. Yes, you should. You should.
right.
And let's the walker have open mind while traveling. Absolutely, absolutely, open
Yeah.
senses. This is truly important. And another thing, and this will lead us to the next section about gear. We don't have time to go too deep, but we can kind of at least talk about, in my opinion, the two most important things when we talk about the Camino, which is backpack and footwear.
Yeah.
Footwear. I'm not talking about boots or shoes, because the socks, even though you may think they are not important, they are really important.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've learned some important lessons about the socks. But the thing is, one of the things, and in this case, I'm gonna focus mainly in feet. Listen to them. This is pretty important, because sometimes we think, okay, I need to run, I'm not hearing you, I need to go because I need to follow my group, I need to be closer to my group, and you end with blisters, and we want to avoid by any means to have them.
Yeah.
So
True.
do you want to start with foot, or
Sure. We can talk
okay?
about that. Well, let me say, first of all, that on our website, which Marco has put there in the bottom of the screen under our video, we have a section on gear demos, and we have a whole section on footwear, what we call your footwear system, which includes your boot or shoe or sandal, whatever you're going to wear, your sock, and whatever kind of friction prevention you're going to use, glide or trail toes or Vaseline petroleum jelly, whatever the Spanish or Portuguese equivalent of that is, to lubricate your feet. We've got whole videos on that on our YouTube channel and blogs on it on our website. The other thing to know is that whatever footwear you choose, be sure to get a proper fit. Wear it all around the store, whatever they allow you to do. We have a couple of places here in the US, REI is one. You can actually take them home and wear them and return them if they're not right. But we would just say, we call it trail test all of your footwear system. You want socks that have wicking capability, which means to draw moisture away from your feet as they sweat, because moisture and heat and friction are the things that cause blisters. And like we talked about the other day, the best way to take care of blisters is never to get them.
Absolutely.
So look up how we have a whole thing on foot care.
Yeah.
And also a whole demo video on our YouTube channel about lacing techniques, because this is something we did not know for a while. Even with the best fitting shoe, if you're walking 10 miles a day or 15 kilometers a day, whatever you're walking, your feet are going to change during the day. And so to know some tips on how to lace your boot or shoes, so to take pressure off of certain areas that might be causing you problem, those are really big, good tips. But trail test everything from your undergarments, your clothing, everything, because everything needs, you need to know, if I'm walking in this for 4 to 6 hours a day, is it going to be comfortable at the end of the day too, and not cause chafing or not cause some sort of problem? So that's what I would say about feet and shoes.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And the thing is, and have that in mind, because usually, even that people that in the weekend they go for those hiking journeys, the thing is, you are doing a hiking journey during at least 1 week, so you don't have time to recover. And this is important, because okay, I had this blister on Sunday, I have the whole week or even more to treat it. At the Camino, you don't.
No.
Right.
No. Right. Well, that's the thing. We talked about this too, Marco. A lot of people mistakenly think, oh, well, I hike every weekend. Well, hiking for all day Saturday, even Saturday and Sunday, is not the same as getting up every morning, day after day after day, 30 days, 40 days, however long you're going to walk on your Camino. For us, it was 52 days. It took us that long. But if it had taken longer, it wouldn't matter. But if you're going to do that, you need to figure out, well, what can I sustain without injury? And that's how we try to help guide people. Is sure, we could walk 20 miles one day, but then we would have to have 3 days to recover before we could walk again. So for us, it's around 10 miles, or what is that, 15 or 16 kilometers? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't have my conversion in my head. But yeah, so that's one thing we try to help people figure out. Well, what can you do day after day after day? And that's sort of your pace. So
absolutely. Well, I have in the carousel, if you are watching this on Amazon, I have both the shoes from Wick and Helen, and also I have mine.
Good.
Yes. And I think we can cover this, because this is important, because I'm a boots guy. I love boots. And main reason, it's because I'm 6'2". Okay, I'm a little bit tall, and I want to have my ankles well protected. Okay. And also there's this second reason, is the fact that I want to avoid those little rocks getting inside my foot and boring me, because it's a little bit annoying. I think you like most shoes.
Yes, but let me just add, we did wear boots on our very first Camino, and 2007. A lot of technology has changed with footwear for the better. So now we do prefer a hiking shoe, and the ones that we use are Merrell Moab. They come in a very wide range of sizes. That is very helpful to people. But for me, I have a very narrow foot, but I have to get a shoe that's really wider than I wish. So I have a problem with the little rocks and things too, getting in my shoe. So here's how I handle that. I wear some of the little gaiters. They're called gaiters, Gaiters. And they're the ones if it's not raining, the gaiters I wear are just kind of like a spandex fabric. And I bought them in Spain. So I don't know what the brand was or anything, but if people want to write to me and ask me more about that, they can certainly do that. Message me on Facebook or at info@caminoprovisions.com. Send me an email. But so there are ways of wearing a hiking shoe and with a gaiter, keeping the little pebbles from getting into your shoe, because that is very annoying.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Any other, or we can go to the backpack?
Okay. How long are we going? Because
1 hour.
okay, so we've got what? Oh, several seconds.
Well, we can go a little bit longer, no problem.
Okay, so backpack. Here's what we have to say about a backpack. If you're going to be walking, the only people who need really have to have a bigger pack might be people who are walking in the winter, and just some of that gear, like you're saying, your size is such that your gear, your clothing takes up more space in a pack than someone smaller than you. But same for the seasons. You might, if all you need are shorts or lightweight clothing, you can get by with a smaller pack, and we recommend a 26 liter to 30 liter pack. And the feature that we really like in the packs that we use a Deuter pack, and those are on our website, recommended.
They
But
are highlighted in the carousel right now.
okay, the reason we like them so much is they have a traditional top load, but they also have a front load. It zips open on the front of the pack so that you don't have to dig all the way down through all of the things you have in your pack to find something. So we really like that for when you're actually walking for the day, and it's like, where's my precip jacket? Where's my rain jacket? And it's at the bottom. Well, so it's just easier to unzip that little flap in the front and find it, and then zip it back and put it back on and go. So
absolutely. And there's a whole science just unpacking.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
Is. And we're big believers in packing cubes as well. They're the little zipper, lightweight packing fabric where we kind of organize our clothes. Although we don't take much. We have three tops, 2 pants, 2 trousers, and maybe 3 pairs of underwear.
Yeah, we're washing things in the sink every night.
We're rinsing things. Oh, and probably 4 pairs of socks.
Right.
Yes.
But we change those throughout the day to keep our feet.
Absolutely. Dry. This is important. Yes,
it is.
And another thing, another important lesson: when you choose mainly the underwear, because as you said, it's good because you have the facilities for doing that. Buy those that dry fast.
Yes.
Yes.
This
microfiber or merino wool. Those are some fabrics that are known to be moisture wicking, and they dry fast. Some of the tech companies have their own brand called Dry Fit and various things like that. Anything that dries fast. But we even have a video on our YouTube channel about how to help get your clothes dry faster using a towel to squeeze it out. And it's a method that Wick developed that I had not seen before. So people are saying, "Oh, this is really good. This
really does help."
Yeah. So anyway, so you can watch that too on our channel. But anyway.
And I when I was doing the preparation for this live show, I went to check all the gear that you were recommending, and something kind of caught my eye. And this was something that when I bought this backpack, I think this one, it's Osprey. It's highlighted right now. I think Osprey, it's from the US.
That's a very good brand.
I think it's from the US.
Mm-hmm.
And because usually, and this is something that it's important, usually I think right now all of them, they come with the rain cover, but this one was a 360-degree enclosed rain cover. And I thought, why do they have this? And I realized, this is for people who come by plane, because and it has those little rings so you can put a locker there and send it to the plane. And this is something that this one it has, so you don't need to buy it. You just open the zip, you put there the backpack, and then you close with a locker, and it's safe there.
Mhm.
And I saw that you mentioned that, because the thing is, if the backpack comes somehow opened,
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
be a little bit tempting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I believe this is something. Do you want, because do
Well,
you realize that the first time the need of this, or this was something that you
we
just saw?
did. Well,
Okay.
on our very first Camino, we used much bigger packs than we use now, which is how I got mine so heavy, which I do not recommend. But anyway, they would not fit in the overhead bin because they were so big. And so we did buy something that I think was called Aeroporto or something like that. It's actually like almost like a duffel bag that you put your pack into, and close, and then that can go through the baggage into the baggage compartment of the airplane rather than with you in your above your seat. But now our packs are the size that they can go in the overhead bins. But yes, and it's also important to know that when you are staying in albergues, you should always keep your valuables with you. You might feel okay about leaving your pack at your bunk, you know, secured somehow. But I always have my passport, my phone, and my money or credit cards with me at all times. Even if I go to the shower, and the communal shower in the bathroom, I have it with me and hang it on a hook to keep it dry. But always keep your valuables with you. And we've never had any problem with
No.
theft or anything, but I know that it does happen in albergues, and so you do need to kind of just be a vigilant traveler, you know.
Right.
Absolutely. I saw that you have one as well. I bought the one you have is different than mine. I bought this waist bag, because
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
this is for me. It's I need to make another statement. I'm that kind of people that usually takes more than you need, maybe 30% of useless stuff. I'm that kind of person.
Confessions are good, Marco.
Yes. At least we need to acknowledge our things.
Yeah.
But I bought this, and this one, it's nice, because one of the things is that you can put it. It has this kind of belt that you can put around your waist, but also it has another one that you can use on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You can put 2 bottles of water. Okay, it has these different pockets, so you can put in a wallet in, so you don't have everything mixed. And I really like this one. Also, it has different colors. But I want to just kind of, before asking you the final thoughts and
Okay.
tips, one of the things that it's pretty important is fasten everything really well. It's your body. If you don't feel that your backpack or your shoes are part of your body, they are not properly fastened. Because I had these 2 things with my backpack in the last. This was the first time because I bought it in July in Prime Days. So this was the first Camino I made with my backpack. Both, how do we call this? The straps in the shoulders,
Shoulder
and
strap.
that kind of belt one
Yeah.
was
Waist
not
belt.
properly fastened.
Mm.
I moved, I don't know, maybe not even 1 centimeter each. It was perfect. Because, for instance, in the shoulders, you will notice, because if it goes too down, you will be kind of
Yeah,
not
leaning.
good.
If it's leaning
Yes,
back
leaning
away
back,
from your
and it's
back,
not good.
that's not good. Yeah.
And that one in the waist, because it has some, it was a little bit loosened. It was frictioning with my hips.
Yeah.
And not good.
Right, right. It's amazing where you can get blisters. Yeah. My
Yes,
first
yeah.
blister on our first Camino was actually on my collarbone because my pack was so heavy in that case. And my pack was sitting where it was supposed to sit on my hips and, you know, distributing the weight well, but it was too much weight. But now what you're saying is you really need to, not only do you need to consider the size of your pack, you know, from the measurement. I talk about this on our website too, just how to measure from your neck down to your waist to see what size pack you should be looking at. And somebody at an outfitter store who really knows what they're doing can help you with this as well. But I have some issues with some health issues with shoulders, and so I carry quite a bit of weight in that waist pack that you're describing. I mean, that's where I carry most of my weight actually, because it's riding on my hips, and that's on me. That's stronger than my shoulders, and so you know, Wick has the stronger shoulders and upper body, and so he can carry more weight in his pack.
A ton.
Yes. But anyway.
Okay, perfect. Just to finish our conversation, 3 tips that you want to leave here so people which are thinking about doing the Camino, preparing the Camino, 3 things that they should have in mind for having the better experience they could have, at least at the first one, because I like to say the best way to prepare the Camino, it's by doing the Camino.
Yeah, I know. And we gave you a different perspective on that, right? Coming from the distance we have to come. Well, the first thing is I have people write in all the time, oh, it's on my bucket list to do this. And I love reading the stories about it. And so a lot of times I'll say, well, I just want to encourage you to get it off your bucket list and onto your calendar. So the first tip would be start making it, the step after dreaming about it is to start making it real by looking at when would I actually do this, and start researching the different seasons and what might fit you the best. We talk about that in the book and all kinds of places where we have information, but what the differences are in the seasons. And so that's the first thing. Yeah. It's just, if you've been dreaming about it, it's on your bucket list. There's no time like now to put it on your calendar, even if it's a year away or whatever.
You know, the second thing I think would be a tip is, and we talked about this in this conversation, has to do with really thinking through, and again, if you're thinking spiritually, praying through what your goals are, so that you can tailor your Camino, customize it to being what's going to work for you.
And what's going to bring the most joy to you, what's going to touch your heart the most. And yeah,
that's right. So we believe that it's very worth taking the time to do that. And again, like Helen said, if you have a year before you put it on the calendar for a year from now, you've got some time that you can really look at those things.
Mm-hmm. And I guess another tip would be to look at, are you thinking you're going to walk it with your spouse like we did, or a good friend, or are you thinking you're going to walk it solo? And, we have all kinds of discussions about that topic on our Facebook page and stuff. But I would just say, if you decide you're going to walk it with another person or a couple of friends, to agree ahead of time what kind of what your rules are going to be. Like we,
Yeah,
we,
it's important. It's really
yeah,
important that.
yeah. Because I've heard many people tell the same story you were telling us about your Camino, Marco, where you ended up with hurt feet trying to keep up with some of the other people you were with in the group. And I would just say, decide ahead of time. Everybody in the group walk their own pace and decide where you're going to meet up, or stop occasionally and wait for the person who's slower, or whatever you decide to do. And decide, like we've heard people say, well, we took turns being the leader for the day. Like in this family we talked about, they had 3 adult children who all of them, were leaders. And so each one of them took turns being the leader of the day. And what that meant was they decided where they were going to stop to eat. They decided when to stop and take a break. They decided, so if you switch around the leadership responsibilities, if you're in a group or with a friend. And for those who are thinking, well, I don't really have a friend, or I was thinking I would just walk it by myself, but I'm worried, is it safe? Especially women ask that question. Is it safe to walk alone? And I would say generally, yes. I think most veterans of the Camino would say they did not feel fearful. But there are things, just again, to be vigilant. Wherever you are, you need to be a vigilant traveler. And if you're wondering what the day ahead, the walk ahead is going to be like, and you're by yourself, ask the hospitalero or the desk clerk at the hotel and say, can you tell me anything about this distance I'm walking? Is it going to be safe? And what happens so much is you meet people who are walking your same pace, and you see them day after day. And so a lot of times you kind of strike up a friendship and end up walking together with that friend, not necessarily to talk all the time or whatever, because you might want solitude. You might be,
Yes,
that might be one of the goals, is to have
absolutely.
solitude. And so you just agree ahead of time. I think I need some time by myself now. And you just slow down and take a break and let that person or that group go on ahead. And you might see them at dinner or whatever. But anyway, that would be the other thing, is just to decide, are you going with somebody or are you going to go solo? So those would be 3
Okay.
things.
Do you want to add another one week? I can give you that.
No, I'm good. I think those
Okay.
would be
And
fine.
before asking, because I think this topic it's really really important, because at least the first Camino, it's kind of difficult to go all by yourself. Okay, it could be one of the barriers for you to overcome. So, but the thing is, even though you go with a group or with your husband, wife, whatever, take some time to go all by yourself. And also don't be upset if the other person wants to go in front or wants to stay in the back, because and this is also in a physical point important, because if someone is walking faster than he she can, or someone is going slower than he she can, this could bring you injuries as well, or you can
Yes.
at least
Definitely.
it you can get more tired by the end of the day. Thankfully this time I could make the things that I could follow the pace of my friend, so we make the whole Camino side by side, or at least most of the time. But the thing is, don't get upset if, for instance, there's someone that goes faster than you and you were expecting them to wait for you, because believe me, I was suffering like hell from blisters, but
Yeah.
that
Right.
moments just with me thinking, reflecting, they were gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
because I believe that even snails, they came across me and they came.
Yeah.
but, but
Yeah.
these moments, they
Never.
are precious.
Yeah. Never underestimate the value of solitude and being alone with your thoughts, and letting, whatever you believe. We believe in God, so letting God, listening for something He might want to tell us through our hearts and our minds, or the universe, whatever your expression would be, the universe bring truth to you about a particular question you're wondering what to choose, which direction to go with your life, whatever it may be. So, yeah. Well, this has been great,
Yeah,
Marco.
thank you.
Okay,
We've enjoyed it.
just to finish, thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much. Right here on the bottom of the screen, where is it? CaminoProvisions.com is our website, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel. It's the same name, Camino Provisions. So you can just look for that, and we would love to have you visit and follow along.
Perfect, perfect. And believe me, because this is how I found Helen and Wick was through their presence on Facebook. Okay, they are present both on a really huge Facebook group and with their page Camino Provisions. Thank you so much. This was such an amazing conversation I had. Besides all the insights that I got, it was an entertained conversation. And believe me, for those of you who are watching us and you have in mind the Camino, this is kind of, you'll get somehow addicted. This. Just let me give you an example how this works. Do you remind that a specific holiday trip that you went to a given destination and you have fun, and then when you come back, you are during 1 month talking to everybody about that trip? Now realize that you do the Camino once a year, twice a year, every year. So you'll see, and then
Wow.
you will find people like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then this is healthy. It's good for the spirit. It's good for
Yeah.
you. This somehow could change if you know how to the good takeaways from the Camino. You will realize how good this is for you. Like, for instance, and easy to tell, meeting amazing people which share their this passion about the Camino, and that are willing to share with you their thoughts, their takeaways, and this is really important as well. Thank you, Helen and Wick,
Thank you
again.
too.
Thank you for
Thank-
having us, Marco.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thanks to all of you that were watching us live or picking the replay. I don't know. Maybe I will negotiate with Helen and Wick to come back sooner or later. The invitation to their daughter, it's already on the table because she
Oh.
wrote about the Camino as well, and this is
Oh, yeah.
something that I like to talk about. Let me highlight the book right now.
Yeah, our daughter wrote a wonderful story. It's a novel. It's fiction, but it's based on the type people that you meet on the Camino. So it will resonate with people who have walked, and it will be very entertaining for everybody.
Absolutely. I had this feeling because once I finished the Camino, I bought a book about a fictioned book about the Camino, and the thing is, the main character was Marco as well. Funny thing.
Yeah.
and lots of things, they resonate with my own experience. Okay, so this was a funny thing. So thank you so much, and
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buen camino.
Buen
Camino.
Camino.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.